This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. Many believe that if you want an answer to something, you already know the answer. It's within. It's hearing the answer, pulling it out. Maybe we call it intuition. It's that knowing, but a lot of times we don't really hear it clearly. She hears a lot of this clearly as a clairvoyant and clairaudient, and we're gonna jump into that topic of just the knowing and how we can better fine-tune our skills to figure out the answers to things, or maybe connect in a different way to find those answers. Diane Duffy joining us once again on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and it's such an honor to be here with you.
So much to talk about. I want to throw this out. You can always reach us, 631-319-6275. Instant feedback, steve@gmail.com. Diane, do you believe that always or most always, we know the answer? The answer is inside. When we're trying to make a decision, choice A, choice B, whatever it may be, we already have it within us.
Well, I want to say it can be a little more complicated than that, and I'm going to explain why. With simple things like, oh, should I buy this brand of car or that brand of car? I think most of the time we know, we have a gut feeling that we might be wiser to go this route, or we know we have the money to go with the more expensive one, but our blocks and our beliefs and our fears get in the way. Mm-hmm. Now, with something that's more of an emotional based or a very big consequential decision, our blocks, our fears, sometimes our lack of knowledge gets in the way. And sometimes in order to make a decision, do I move to this town or this town in a particular state, we might need to gather more information. And sometimes even a psychic would say, I feel good about this. I feel better with that. But a psychic might say, based on the information that you need to find from the town or the real estate agent, that is going to give you that gut feeling of which way, because you don't have enough information yet. So I don't want to say that it's really that cut and dry. For simple stuff, yes. Simple things like buying a car, you kind of know. More complex things, again, blocks get in the way, we get overwhelmed. And again, even when someone comes to me, I might have a feeling one way or another, but I might also be told by my guides, this person needs more facts to be able to weigh. And when they weigh, their gut will speak to them. So that's kind of, how it is. But with the easy breezy stuff, I think people know. And I also think, with anything that's very, very personal, I think people know, do I give up the doctor that I have? I've heard this other one is nicer, things like that. I think sometimes people know it's time to get rid of their doctor, or whatever that may be. Sometimes there is that knowing, but people are also afraid of change too.
Yeah. And okay. So on those easier decisions, it seems like many times that we put up a block because of those other things around us, the fear of change. But we still know the answer. We don't want to accept the answer sometimes when it involves change. Right?
There's a lot of that. Yeah.
I believe we have a call. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Steve, how are you?
I'm very well. Who's this?
Johan.
Hey,
How are
Johan.
you?
Good. We have Diane with us today. You have a question for her?
Yes. So, I know that you do readings, right?
Yes, I'm an intuitive.
Intuition,
Yes.
Intuitive healing, right?
Intuitive reader.
Intuitive reader, yeah. Does everyone basically, like, does everyone have intuition, intuitive healing for
Intuitive.
for their
You
person?
keep, well, you keep using the word healing. I'm not a healer. I don't do Reiki, so I don't really know how to answer your question because you keep using the word healing, and that's not a modality that I've
Oh,
worked
so
with
you
or
read,
that
right?
I do.
Do
I
you
give
read?
you answers to questions on situations in your life.
Oh, okay, answers.
Going on a trip, buying a car, buying a boat, staying in a relationship, staying in a marriage, things about your children, their college, their school, all of that.
Johan, do you have something that you're wrestling with, you're thinking about, trying to make a decision, anything like that going on in your life?
Basically, kind of like relationship, personal life. I'm basically in a balance and would like to be able to destine my future. To see if the fact that I have a newborn son and the fact that we are basically having hardships in financials because of very extremists that are not willing to let my fiance to work.
So you're having challenges with finances. You have a small child, and there's some challenges with work. Are you getting anything, Diane, in that direction?
No, because he's all over the place. I need him to focus on what is your question. He's given me a lot of information, and
Do I have?
when I kind of do
Do
these
I have?
sessions with Q&A, I need a question.
Yeah,
Like,
like
do
a
I
direct,
stay with my partner?
a direct question.
Yeah, direct, not because I mean, if I started dabbling into
Do
everything
I?
going on with him, that would be like an hour reading, and we don't really have that kind of time. So I
Right.
need a poignant, direct question. Do you want to know if you should stay with this woman? You seem like there's an awful lot of guilt there, but the only thing that I'm picking up on is there's some toxicity going on. I don't know which
A
what the
lot of
dynamic. I'm
challenges there
not going
too.
to get into that, but there's toxicity and something about guilt with this child. So the only thing I'm going to tell you is if something's toxic, you need to get out.
No, nothing is toxic. Let me kind of like.
Well, can you narrow down to like a question? Is your question about
Basically-
staying with her, or what is your one direct question?
Today's world, with all organizations, basically targeting one certain, basically culture, and I would like to be able to see if I can, over time.
I'm not
right,
sure
we're
what you
gonna move
mean
on,
by
Johan.
you're being targeted.
We're going to move on. Johan, if you want to come up with a direct question, call us back. But I'm going to say this. This is a great example of when you talk with a clairvoyant, have a direction, have a question. And I am going to add, like he used the word healing. Would you say that there is healing that can come from the insight and the answers. You may not be a healer per se, like an energy healer, but I'm feeling that there could be healing in some of the things that you provide. What do you think about that?
What comes to my mind very strongly is anybody, this comes through so strong, anybody that's been in a job that they didn't like for and have been putting up with for a long time,
Mm.
and they are, let's say, actively looking for another one, and they're trying to narrow down some choices or directions in their career, and I will fine tune that in the reading. When they feel peace with that, or let's say they've got a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a buddy that they're going to join and be partners with in a company or do something,
Right.
and they get that burst of energy that I can feel, that they're making that decision to leave, 26 years doing whatever and going in another direction.
All right, hold on a
That
second. Hold,
feeling is amazing.
hold on here just a moment.
Sure.
So I was at a job, and this is years ago, but it was a big job, and it was I got a big radio job very young, and it was tough for me to leave. It was time to go, but I was there for 26 years, and you just said 26. Where the hell did you get that from?
I was picking up on that.
I'm not even kidding. You can't make that up. I mean, that's verified.
No, you can't make that up.
You can look that, if you look deep enough, maybe you figure it out. But like where that came from, that was the weirdest.
Yeah, because it came to me so strong, like literally just like smacking me and saying, "Deliver this."
And that was what I wrestled with. Things had changed, and it was a mutual departure, but I remember like wrestling with it. They offered a job in another state. It was a parallel move. It just didn't make sense moving. And it's just like, one day after much thought, I woke up on a Monday and said to myself, Wednesday's your last day. And that's where I ended it. But it was 26 years. Freaky
How
weird.
freeing did you feel on that last day in that position?
It was bittersweet. Got to tell you.
Of course.
And, many people said, because in this city, it became a thing. Like people would listen to me every day on this morning show, and people still, this is a long time ago, people still bring it up. They mention it. I'm known for this show. And many said, well, why didn't you make a bigger deal about leaving? Why? I was like, you know what? I could have, maybe I should have, but it was time to just slide on out. There was a sense of freedom, but there was also a sense of fear. Like we said before, with the change, I had a newborn at the time. It was, but as it all worked out, there was a reason that happened. My newborn had a medical issue. I would have never been able to deal with that and wake up at 3:00 in the morning, go to work, and all that. So it worked out the way it should have. And I had 6 months.
Silver lining, Steve.
Silver lining. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's so weird. 26 years. And in the same scenario, that's what I went through. Bizarre. Does that happen a lot for you? Like you're invited to a party. You don't know these people at the party, and all of a sudden you get something and you just blurt it out. Does that happen?
Yes. And vice versa. You're going to enjoy this. I can't read myself a lot of the time. Okay. And this is true for all of us readers. Okay. But life will bring a person who is very, somewhat gifted. They don't particularly do readings, but they're gifted on some level. They may not even know it. Cross my path and say something to me so poignant that is out of the blue while I'm picking green and red peppers in a grocery store. And all of a sudden, something just connects. And this has happened to me so much. Once my window was open and I was doing this as a business, my personal interactions with folks the universe would send me these people, and you're talking about this and the other, and what would bleed in would be something that I would absolutely need, something that would calm me, center me. And it's unexplainable, Steve. Even though I've been in this work and have had these experiences most of my life, it still always doesn't cease to amaze me. Now, can this happen for the average Jane and Joe? Absolutely. If there's something that you need to hear, you might be having a soda and a burger in a diner, talk to somebody next to you, and all of a sudden, something that you need to know on some level will bleed in, and that puzzle piece will lock in, and you'll just know, I was supposed to know that.
How do you receive? Actually, we're going to go to an email because it seems like
Sure.
we're right in the territory of that. This is
Beautiful.
Melissa, Ocala, Florida, says, when I get a feeling, how do I know if it's actually my intuition?
When it comes in without force, usually when you're doing something, loading the dishwasher. I mean, I use it as an example because when I had it, I don't have a dishwasher now, but when I had one, a lot of times your mind is focused on something else. Your subconscious can work with you because you're in a mindless activity. So just know when you're not engrossed and it's coming random, that's the real deal. That's the real deal, honey. That is the real deal.
I view it sometimes as it's usually the easiest answer, and you look at it as it can't be it. It can't be that easy. It's showing up like no, that can't be it, and then logic comes in. You overthink it, and invariably you deny your intuition. Technically, you made a mistake.
The more empty and unbusy, you could be physically busy, but if your mind is sort of airy fairy, thoughts will come in and out. You could be tying your shoelaces and something will pop in. Driving. I tell people, and I've had more clients tell me, I'm driving in the car and I got 5 more exits before I really have to pay attention. And you're just humming along, and all of a sudden something pops in. There you go. It's right there.
Do you find
You have to sort of be unattached to the result, just sort of unattached and allow.
many of us have so much going on that we don't sit in silence, take some quiet time, just think, just process. I don't know what it is, the new moon tonight. I don't know what's going on, but me personally, the last few days, I've actually done that. I'm taking some time. Usually I schedule things. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that tonight. No, I'm sitting on a couch. I'm going to think or whatever. I'm in a different headspace the last couple of days. It's a weird
Spirit's
feeling.
telling me to tell you to keep a pen and paper. Don't force anything. But even if something doesn't make sense to you, write the half of a phrase or the words or a statement. Just have that pen and paper, because you'll be able to connect dots. And I say this not just for you, but for everybody. It doesn't have to be this very, formal meditation. Just be empty, be open, let go, let the stuff come in and out, kind of like how the tide is, washing in the little ocean pebbles. The more you can not be formal and let it, the better you'll get. And a lot more will start coming in.
In other words, just let it flow. Just let it flow.
Absolutely.
I want to ask you a question, and this is based on signs, things that present. I don't think I said this to you because it just happened recently. So
Okay.
I'm on doing a show here, and a date pops up on my screen. It won't go away. I can't minimize it. I'm a geek. I usually figure this stuff out. I take my mouse. It's stuck in a little box in front of me.
Is it a future date, Steve?
It was a previous date. It was, and I wrote it down, It was 3:20, March 20th, 5:42 p.m., which showed up on my screen. It would not go away. And it showed up a few days after that date. So I don't know, it was the 24th or whatever. And I've been tracing it back. I looked back to what I was doing at that time. I think I was taking a nap. I was going to go out that night. I looked back on my texts to see who I was texting with. Maybe there was I haven't figured it out, but I'm just with 320.
Could also be just using the March date without the year.
Yes.
Could mean something coming up. Also, you might want to do numerology, and I would bet you I know a numerologist, but I would say add all those numbers.
I did.
Marches to and what did you come up with the final number?
Final number, and this number is impactful with another number. It came up to a 7, and 7 and 11 are very important in my world. Number of different reasons, not even worth getting into.
Okay.
And weirdly, I don't know if I'll be able to trace it back, but that job I mentioned, when I went full time at that job, it may have been on that date. And I had a radio job a few years before, my very first one, and it could have been on that date where I started. And if it was that job, I was actually on the air at 5:42 p.m. So still trying to figure it out. I don't know, but I'm convinced there's something there. I just haven't found out what the something is. It's too bizarre. Like literally, I was with the mouse. Like it was in front of every screen and would not go away. When does that happen? Never. It was the weirdest thing. Just a little box.
Yeah, there's no accident with that. And 7 is luck. So if you even just went with the essence of the energy of 7, know that with 7, all is well. It is one of the most coveted numbers. It's good stuff.
It'll present, and that's just it.
Exactly.
I know, and I guess the other thing is pay attention, because I could have just not even. There's something there. I know there is. I'm not even.
Of course, there is.
Do you find that
especially
too?
when it's locking in like that?
And you picked up on it right away. The year wasn't on it. So that's my tip off to something in the past, whether it was 20, 30, 40, or whatever it is. There's something, there's a reason for it. Do you find that things always eventually get revealed at some point?
Oh yeah. And the other side has a sense of humor. The powers that be have a sense of humor, because when it comes to you, you're usually preoccupied with something else, but the universe knows that it's the perfect time. And when it comes, you just sit back, you digest it, and it's a beautiful moment. It really is.
Planning to buy a second vehicle. Gonna look at it on Thursday. Should I?
If the thought came to you, and the excitement in your vibration, I tell people, go with what you feel in your gut, because what you feel and what you fear and what you imagine and fantasize, oh, I would love to have this, 35-foot boat. You know that you can afford it, but it's this whole thing of, overanalyzing it. And when somebody has spent time fantasizing and picturing themselves in that boat, then all of a sudden they're somewhere and they're walking by a boat. All this lines up for a reason, because subconsciously you've manifested the other car or the truck or the boat. So now the opportunity presents itself, and then now you start picking it apart. No, what you fear but get most excited about is your gut speaking to you, your higher self speaking to you, giving you the validation and the nod to go ahead.
And all the things are stacking up. I'm buying it from somebody who I know. I know they're not ripping me off. And here's the other thing. It costs a little bit more than I expected to pay. However, the vehicle I have now, it's a second vehicle. I just use it for fun. It's a piece of junk. It's rusting away. It's old. Somebody hit it in January, and I settled, and I got money out of it. So that offsets the cost of the new vehicle. And it's almost as if it was meant to happen. It was just, it hit it with a
The
snowplow.
universe will absolutely align it.
That's what it
That's
seems
what
like.
they do. They align. That's what they do. They align.
The way you do what you do is amazing in terms of you make it clear and easy to understand. There's you're no BS. You're a no BS clairvoyant. You get right to it, and it's crystal clear. It's like here's your marching orders. This is what you need to do. Whether it's processing something, picking up on a sign, putting things together. Love how you do that. The 26-year thing, mind blow. It was so random.
And Steve, I gotta be honest, I owe it all to an army of mentors literally from the 1980s through the 1990s and even early 2000s. They're all on the other side. They still work with me, but things that they have exposed me to, presented to me, trainings, talks, whatever, I tucked that knowledge away deeply and protected that knowledge. And I owe a lot to them on the other side when they were here in the living.
The one word that just popped in my head, refreshing. You are refreshing. How do we find you? How do we connect? Somebody wants a reading, has questions. How do they do that?
Yeah. Thanks so much, Steve. So the easiest way is a text message. I'm going to shut that off. My apologies.
Spirit is calling.
Yes. So by phone would be, and that's my validation. Texting 860-518-4136, text or call. My email is Diane, Diane, the number 9, M like Mary, P like Paul, @gmail.com. Email, phone, or text.
Website, you have one too, right?
Yeah, and the website is www.spiritsresponse.weebly.com, and Spirits Response on Facebook is where you can find old posts, videos, shows that I've done, testimonials, etc.
Fantastic. Thank you for today. Lots more to talk about next time we get together, and
Thanks so
I'll let you
much.
know if I buy that truck.
Oh, absolutely.
I
Thanks
think
so
I'm gonna.
much.
Yeah, thank you.
My
We'll talk
pleasure.
soon.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.